this class is a Pilates class. It's a more contemporary Pilates class. So rather than following the classical order of exercises, this is looking at modifications of those exercises and just variations of them to still achieve the same work. So you'll find that there's a lot of abdominal work, but without any stress or any strain on your body. So it's kind of a kinder Pilates class, if you like. And all you're going to need for this session is a towel, and then just fold it up a few times, because we're going to use this to really access and get into our core. So we're lying down on our mat with our knees bent, our feet flat. And as always, if you feel that you want something under your head, if you feel like your chin's poking up towards the sky, you can pop yourself a little cushion, a block, a little towel, something under there to help drop that chin down a little bit and to find length through the back of your neck. Otherwise, if you're happy, we're just going to hold here, letting your body settle and starting to slow your breath down. See if you can take a really long, deep inhale and a slow exhale, just expelling all of the air that you can. Do that a couple of times, really slow, deep inhale, get as much air in as possible. And a long, slow exhale, getting rid of all of that air. Just do that a couple more times. Good. Now this time, as you exhale, I want you to tilt your pelvis towards you. So tilt it as far towards you as you can, and you'll feel how your back will go completely flat into the floor. And then as you inhale, you're just going to roll that pelvis back into a neutral position again. Let's play with that a few times. So as you exhale, tilt your pelvis towards you, feel your lower back push into the floor. And inhale to tilt the other way, coming back to a more neutral position. Just move with the flow of your breath. And we're using this to release tension around our lower back, but also to mobilise the muscles of the pelvis and find a little bit of movement there, just releasing tension. So in order for something to be stable and strong, we've first got to be able to move it. So that's why we're just starting with a little bit of mobilisation of our pelvis this morning. Okay, let's take it into a circle. So think again about that marble, roll it towards your nose, tilting your pelvis towards you to 12 o'clock. Rolling it to one hip bone, so you've either gone to 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Rolling towards your toes, let's go 6 o'clock, and then to the other hip bone. Let's go round in that little circle. And again, it's not a big movement, you might not be able to see anything from the outside. And then can you reverse that circle and go in the opposite direction? So you'll have gone the easy way first. Our body knows, and it always goes the easy way first. Nice. Alright, and then just pause in centre there. So I want you to grab your folded up towel, and we're going to place it under our pelvis to allow our pelvis to find that tilted back position. So this is where I say you might want to play around a little bit with the height of your towel. So it's under your pelvis, and then kind of let your pelvis tip back. Yeah, so you might have to shuffle it around a little bit so that you can find that position. And then we're in that tilted position, so your pubic bone is now higher than your hip bones. And you might be able to feel that your lower back is touching the floor, maybe. Don't worry too much if it's not, as long as your pelvis is tilted. But in an ideal world, that lower back will now be touching the floor. And this is going to help us to really access our abdominals. So one of the questions I get people message me about is that they're worried that when we do the core exercises that they're not using the core, and sometimes their back hurts afterwards. So if your back is hurting after you've been doing some ab work, you have been using your back rather than your abs. So this is a really nice way to kind of find that. So just leaving you to settle here, just to make sure it's comfortable, and you can of course alter your height of your towel or your position of your towel at any point, but we're looking for that tilted pelvis and lower back flat on the floor. Okay, from here take a breath in, And as you exhale, let's just bring one leg into a tabletop position. Inhale as you lower that leg back down to the floor. Exhale, do the other side. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. Now what I want you to try and do is keep that pelvis still. So try and keep it in that tilted back position and keeping your back flat on the floor. So if taking your leg down to the floor makes your pelvis start to tilt, just go with it for a moment because we're going to change it in a second. So we're happy with this single knee fold. We're going to take it into toe taps. So as you bring your leg up this time, hold it up and then bring that second leg up. So it's easy to find that flat back. Okay. So this time as you inhale, you're going to tap your toe down to the floor and exhale to pull it back up. So again, we want that flat back. If your pelvis is starting to tilt, don't go all the way to the floor. Just go to where you can maintain that still and stable back. Inhale as you lower the leg, exhale as you lift. Placing your hands on your low belly now, let's have a check-in with what our core's up to. So as you exhale and that leg pulls in, we're wanting our abdominals to draw in, to kind of knit that little bit closer because they're having to work to help pull that leg back in. So if you notice that your abdominals are doing the opposite of that and they're pushing out and bulging, I want you to really focus on your breath. I want you to really focus on that exhale, blowing all of the air out, and see if you can now find that knitting in, drawing in of your abdominals. Good. All right, as your legs come into tabletop this time, we're going to hold it here. Still tilted, back is still flat. And we're going to place our hands on our thighs and then press the legs away just until your arms are straight. So we're not going to go too far away, but we want our arms straight. And then we're going to take both hands onto one leg. And we're just going to straighten the other leg out long. So point the toes and reach that leg long and then draw it back in. And we're just going to switch the hands onto the other side. Just point the toe and just reach the leg long and then just bend it back in. Okay, let's just do that a couple of times. Pointing the toe, stretch, reach the leg long, draw it back in. Last time. Point the toe, reach it long, draw it back in. Okay, now this time we'll do the same. So point the toe, reach the leg long, but now we're going to lower the leg down towards the floor. Only take it as low as you can maintain that tilted pelvis and that back flat. And then slowly lift that leg back up and bend it back in. Nice. Other side. So point the toes, reach the leg long, lower, keeping that back nice and still. When you've gone as low as you can control it, bring it back up and bend it back in. Good, switching sides. So we're looking for control here. Breathe however it makes sense to you, but control it and go nice and slow. Good job. Let's do one more on each side. And as you bring that knee back in this time, just bring both knees into your chest, give your knees a little hug, and just rock gently side to side. Alright. So we're going to take our legs into that frog position now. So bring your heels together and open your knees wide. Pelvis is still tilted, lower back still pressed into the floor. So we're going to push the feet away, so straighten out those legs, and then bend the knees back in, find that little frog position again, and push. So again, you can play around with the height of your legs. You can take them a little bit lower, but maintain that lower back onto the floor. Push. As you push and straighten the legs, squeeze the knees together if they will touch, and then bend back in. Press, squeeze, and bend back in. Nice. Two more like this. Good. And then this time we're going to half bend the frog. So we've got knees bent, heels together, we're in that kind of diamond or that frog shape, and we're going to lower and lift these legs here. So we're going to just lower just a couple of inches, don't go too far, and then lift them back up. Again, back stays flat on the floor. Lower and lift. I like to inhale as I lower, exhale as I lift. There's more work in that lift. Good job. Maybe do 2 more like this. One more time. And then just bring the knees in again, give your knees a little hug, and just rock gently side to side. Okay, so we were using that towel to tilt our pelvis to stabilise and to hold it really still. When we do a lot of the exercises in a more neutral position, it's harder to stabilise. You have to use your abdominals an awful lot more, and if you don't quite have the strength to hold that stable neutral position, your back's then going to take over, and that's why we get that bother with our back. So any abdominal exercise you can do in this position, and it's a really good way to help to build that strength and stability. What we're going to do now is do those exercises again without the towel, finding a neutral pelvis and see how it feels for you. At any point, if you think I'm happier with the towel, it's more available to me, pop the towel back in. So let's take it out and just pop it to the side. Okay, so now this time, instead of having that tilted pelvis back flat, we're looking for a more neutral position where hip bones and pubic bone are level, and there might be a little tiny space under your back. And now we want to try and keep that position all of the time. We're going to go back to single knee folds here. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, can you bring that leg into tabletop? Inhale to lower it down. As you exhale, bring that leg into tabletop. Inhale, lower it down. We're only going to do a couple of repetitions of each exercise. We're not going to do as many as we did with the towel. I just want you to kind of feel that difference. So here, can you maintain that level, neutral pelvis, and it's not rocking and rolling? As you bring your leg up this time, hold it up. Let's bring that second leg up for toe taps. Take a moment to find that neutral. And again, as you inhale, tap the toe down. As you exhale, bring it back up. Abdominals having to work hard to stabilise and keep that pelvis still. Check again. Pop your fingers on your lower belly, making sure that as you exhale, those abdominals are drawing in, sinking down and not pushing out. If they're pushing out, it just shows that you've kind of gone beyond the boundary of what's available right now. So maybe you are better with your towel under your pelvis. All right, we're happy with our toe taps. Take it into that hands on the thighs. So you're going to press the thighs away just to make those arms straight. And we're just going to straighten one leg out, pointing the toe, reaching, and then bending that leg back in. Switch sides, point the toe, reach the leg long. Bend it back in. Can you again maintain that neutral position? Hard to stabilise, making sure that it's the abdominals doing the work and not the back. As you straighten that leg this time, let's lower it down towards the floor. This is the tricky bit. Much more work as you lower. As you lift, keep that pelvis nice and still, bend it back in. Other side. Straighten the leg long, pointing the toe lower. Lift. Bend it back in. Just do one more on each side. We never want to be struggling and straining our body. Yeah? We should just be doing what's available to us and not forcing anything. As you bring that leg in this time, just give yourself a little hug, do that little knee hug, rock gently side to side. We're going to do our little frog press and our frog lower. Okay, so finding that heels together, knees apart position. Again, finding that neutral pelvis, because as you bring the knees in, it's very tempting to find that rolled back. So neutral pelvis, and then press those legs away. Squeeze the knees together, bend it back in. Again, press, squeeze, bend it back in. Let's do 2 more of those. And then halfway bend, so we've got those bent knees, frog position, as you lower and lift those legs just a few inches. Again, now this is super tricky because as you're rocking forwards and backwards, your pelvis wants to go. Try and keep that pelvis anchored and still, and don't be tempted to arch your back here, yeah? Woo, one more time. And knee hug. And just rock gently side to side. So those are some really kind of nice abdominal exercises, and you've tried them in that tilted position and you've tried them in a neutral position. So it will give you an idea of kind of the level of abdominal strength that's available to you today. It might be different tomorrow. So when we do any of the abdominal exercises, if you're happier with the towel, if you find it easier to keep your pelvis still, use a towel anytime. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more abdominal exercises now, and it's up to you if you want to use your towel or you want to just stay in that neutral position. And I'm going to go back to the towel because you know what? It just felt nice today, and I'm going to unfold it a little bit so it's not quite as high, so I've not got quite as much of a tilt, but I'm going to find that position there. Okay, so from here we're going to bring our let's do our opposite elbow to opposite knee. Okay, so feet are going to stay down on the floor, and we're going to bring one elbow up, and we're going to bring that elbow towards your opposite knee, and then just release back down to the floor. Opposite elbow, opposite knee. Bring back down to the floor. So here, as you're bringing that knee in, your pelvis is going to tilt if you're in that neutral position. Don't worry about that, that's fine, because it's a little bit of a, almost like a crunch, isn't it? Opposite elbow, opposite knee comes in. Nice. That's quite gentle, that's not too bad, we can cope with that. Alright, last one here. Okay, now this time I want you to straighten your legs out long and have your arms out to that T position. Alright, so from here, we're going to take one arm and we're going to slide it from the T position up over your head to that 12 o'clock position. And then we're going to lift the opposite leg, and we're going to lift this 12 o'clock arm, and we're going to see if we can get them to meet. And then we're going to take them back down to the floor, and then bring your arm back to a T, opposite side. Arm goes up and over to 12 o'clock. Lift the arm, lift the leg. Can you get them to touch? Take them back to the floor. Find your T. Again. Opposites. Nice. Making this your last one, and then come all the way back in. Bending your knees now, let's find that cobbler position. Soles of the feet together and let your knees roll out to the sides. Let's just hold here for a few breaths, just releasing any tension through the inner thighs. I'm going to take my towel away now. I don't like it there with cobbler. Okay. So we're going to move our attention to our arms a little bit now. We're going to hold this cobbler position, but we're going to reach our arms up towards the ceiling. Have your palms facing in towards each other. And then I want you to reach your fingertips towards the ceiling, really reach and stretch. Can you feel how your shoulder blades are just maybe lifted off the floor? And then we're going to anchor the arm back into the shoulder socket and let your shoulder blade come back down onto the floor. Do that again. So reach in for the ceiling with your fingertips and then anchoring those arms back down. Let's play with that a few times. Reach and release. And as your shoulder blades come back down onto the floor and they anchor down, this time we're going to keep them anchored and we're going to take our arms overhead. So as you inhale, can you take your arms overhead but keep your ribs down? And then exhale as you bring your arms back up towards the ceiling. Do that again. Inhale, arms go overhead. Just take them as far as you can, keep the ribs down. And then exhale to come back. Two more like that. And then we're just going to lower our arms all the way down to our hips and just hold there for a moment. We're going to bring the knees back in towards each other and take those feet and knees to hip distance apart. We're going to do our spine curl now. So if you do have anything under your head, just pop that out for this
exercise. So take a breath. Tilt your pelvis towards you, find that flat back again, and as you exhale, we're going to keep tucking and tilting that pelvis as we roll our hips up towards the sky. Pausing at the top to take a breath in and then exhaling as you slowly melt your spine back down into the floor. Keep that tuck and that tilt of your pelvis till the last possible second so that your pelvis is the last thing to come down. Do that again, tilt towards you. Really keep tucking and tilting that pelvis, trying to send your tailbone up towards the sky. Pausing at the top for a breath in and then exhaling as you roll back down. Keep that tuck, keep that tilt to the last possible second and then allow your pelvis to come back down. Do that a couple more times, just go at your own pace. As you lower your bottom down this time, we're going to float the arms back up to the ceiling again, palms facing in towards each other. Okay. On an inhale, we're going to take those arms overhead towards the floor behind us. And as you exhale, you're going to push into your heels and just lift your hips straight up to the sky. So we've not rolled up, we've just pushed up towards the sky. Okay, and we're going to inhale again, we're going to bring the arms back up towards the ceiling on an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to just lower our bottom back down to the floor. Try that again. Inhale, take those arms overhead towards the floor behind you. Exhale, press into your heels, lift your hips up to the sky. Inhale, bring the arms back up to the ceiling, and then exhale, just lower your bottom all the way back down. Inhale, arms go overhead. Exhale, press into your heels and lift. Inhale, bring the arms back to the ceiling, and then exhale, lower your bottom all the way down. Let's do one more. Inhale, arms go over. Exhale, press and lift the hips. Inhale, arms come up, and then exhale, lower your bottom, and then lower your arms all the way down to your hips. And bring your knees into your chest. Give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. We're going to roll onto our side for a little bit of side leg work next. So when you're ready, come onto your side. And I like to line myself up with the back edge of my mat. So I like to have my shoulders and my hips on the back edge and then kicking my legs forwards to the front edge. I like my head resting in my hand, but you can feel free to have your arm out long if that feels good to you. Alright, let's take a moment here to make sure that our pelvis is level and stacked and we've not got that top hip rolled back. And then we're going to push out through both of those feet, finding length through both sides of the waist. Let's lift and lower that top leg. Keep reaching it long and try and keep your pelvis super still as you reach and then lower. Good job. Keep reaching. Two more. And then we're going to hold it at hip height and we're going to circle that leg around. Again, we're trying to keep our pelvis still. It's really tricky when we're in this circling exercise, but see what you can do. And then can you reverse that circle, go the other way? Good job. Okay, and then we're going to work the inner thigh, the bottom leg. So you've got choices. You can either take that leg behind, you can take that leg in front, and then you can bring that leg all the way down so the knee is down in front. So feel free to kind of play around and see which of those feels better for you. I'm kind of liking that knee down in front. I'm going to stay here. We want that long leg flat, that foot flat, and then we're going to lift and lower that bottom leg. Yeah, lift and lower that bottom leg. So we're really working that inner thigh of that bottom leg. Keep going. You do two more like that. Last one, and then lowering that leg down. We're going to go straight over and do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, come on up. Take a moment again to get your alignment. Lining up with the back edge of your mat, and then kicking your legs forwards to the front. Check in with that pelvis, making sure that we're stacked, nice and even, and those feet are flat and reaching. Are you ready? We're going to lower and lift on this side. Good. Two more. How's your pelvis on this side? Is it the same? Is it easier? Is it harder? Holding at hip height for circles. Keep reaching that leg long as you circle. And then can you reverse, go the other way? Good job. All right, we're going to do that inner thigh of that bottom leg. So again, leg can go behind, you can come in front, or you can drop that knee down. Find the position that works for you, and that bottom leg is reaching long, foot flat. And we're going to lift and lower that bottom leg. Very nice. Keep reaching. Last one. And then lowering that leg all the way down. We're going to roll onto our front now. So when you're ready, find your way onto your front, and then you can rest your forehead down onto your hands. Let's just take a couple of breaths here, just letting your body settle into the floor. Let's find that pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked to give us some length in our lower back. And then you can either have your legs squeezing together or hip distance apart, or even wider if you need to, if your lower back's feeling a little bit tweaky. Just find the position that works for you. Finding length. Can you lengthen your lower back? Keep that tailbone tucked. Okay. And then from here, we're just going to do some little hamstring curls. So we're just going to bend one knee and bring your foot towards your bottom. Now you can have a pointed foot or you can have a flat foot. Either of those is fine. And then we're just going to slowly lower that leg back down to the floor. Other side, you're just going to bend the knee, bringing the foot close to your bottom, and then lowering that leg all the way back down. See if you can keep that pubic bone anchored, that tailbone tucked. Keeping this work in your bottom and the back of your thighs, so glutes and hamstrings, and not back. So I've done a few with a pointed toe, and I do a few with a flat foot. Good job. And as you lower your leg down this time, we're going to keep the legs down. We're going to bring the hands just in front of the shoulders now. They're kind of in that stop position. And then have your forehead either on the floor or just hovering off. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of back extension now. So the first thing I want you to do is notice in this position, are you really pushing the bottom of your ribs into the floor? Can you try and draw your ribs into your body a little bit? So it might make your upper back round slightly, that's okay. And as you breathe in, press into your hands, and then can you lift the back of your head and your neck towards the sky? And then just gently lower down as you breathe out. Try that again. So inhale, pressing into your hands, lifting the back of your head towards the sky, and then exhale to come back down. So don't come up too high, just come up as high as feels okay for you. We don't want it to go into your lower back. So this will really work on our shoulders and our upper back. If it's bothering your lower back, check again that you've got pubic bone anchored. Check again that you're drawing your ribs into your body. Do one more like that. And as you lower down this time, take a moment to push yourself up and back into child's pose, into that rest position, just to give our back a little stretch here. Hold for a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back down onto our front again. But this time we're going to be on our elbows. Okay, and then Have your elbow under your shoulder. Have the same distance between your hands as you've got your elbows, just so that you've not got your hands close together. And then notice the position of your shoulders. Can you press into those elbows and find that nice wide shoulder position? Pull the ribs into your body, and pubic bone is still anchored here. Okay, so we're going to do our little leg kicks. Legs can be together, they can be hip distance apart. We're going to bend one knee, we're going to do 2 kicks. We're going to do a pointed kick, we're going to do a flat kick, and then we're going to lower that leg all the way down. Other side. So we're going to point, we're going to flex, we're going to lower. Keep switching sides. Point, flex, lower. Good job. Point, flex, lower. Keep checking with those shoulders, making sure that you're not sagging and collapsing into your shoulders. Keep checking with those ribs to make sure you're not letting those ribs press down towards the floor, and then bothering your lower back. Point, flex, lower. Nice. One more time. Point, flex, and lower. As you lower that leg this time, we're going to lower our upper body down and just rest there for a moment. Good. And then again, let's push ourselves up and back. Find that rest position. Let's give our back a little stretch. And then when you're ready, we're going to go over onto our back. So make your way onto your back again. And we're going to bring those legs into a tabletop position, and we're going to have the feet and knees together. Take your arms out to a T. Okay. So we want to keep our shoulder blades and the back of our ribcage anchored on the floor, but we're going to let both knees roll to one side. And then bring them back in through centre and take them over to the other side. And we're going to just play with this a little bit. Just go side to side. Doesn't matter how far you go, but try and keep your shoulder blades anchored. And then you can choose to stay with this bent leg, or as you're coming through centre, you can try it with a straight leg. So it's more load with the straight leg. Don't go as far to begin with, see how it feels. Good. As you come back in through centre this time, just bend your knees in, give your knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. So again, with this, you've got your option of having your towel under your pelvis if that feels better for you. And we're going to just move that on a little bit now. So we're going to go back to tabletop again. Arms out to that T position. And we're going to roll our knees. Let's roll to the right. So roll your knees to your right. And then lower your knees away from you a little bit so that you can circle those knees around to your left. And then bring them back into centre. Let's go the opposite way this time. So take your knees to your left. Lower them slightly to circle them down around to your right. And bring them back into centre. Let's go again to the right. Slightly lower to circle around to your left. And centre. And left. Down around to your right. And centre. Okay, again, option to stay bent leg or try straight leg. We're going to go back to the right. Are you ready? To the right. Lower down around to your left. And centre. Left. Down around to your right. And centre. And again, right. Down around to your left. Centre. And left. Down around to your right. And centre. And again, bend those knees in. Give your knees a little hug. And just rock gently side to side. Let your feet come down to the floor now. I'm going to keep the feet and knees together. And then we're going to roll our knees to the side. Take them as far to the side as they'll go. And in fact, let them come all the way to the floor. So you're probably going to end up rolling onto your side, and that's fine. So knees are touching the floor, and then we're going to open out our upper body to try and find that T position again. You might not get all the way down to the floor, and that's fine. Keep your knees down and just take that arm to where it's able to get to. And then we're going to just hold here for a few deep breaths. Take it to the other side. So maybe kind of roll your upper body back to find that side lying position again, and then roll onto your back. That's probably the nicest way to come into it. Let's do the same on the other side. So you're going to roll your knees to the other side now. Let them come all the way to the floor. Again, probably rolled onto your side, and then start to roll your upper body back, trying to find that T position. Keeping the knees down. Doesn't matter if your arm and your shoulder's not reaching the floor. Find where you can get to and hold. And take some deep breaths. Good job. When you're ready, again, just bringing that upper body back so that you're on your side, and then roll yourself onto your back. Picking up those knees again, give your knees a little hug, and let's just roll gently side to side. Okay, we're going to make our way over onto our hands and knees next. So when you're ready, you've had enough of a little roll around, come on up. And then find that hands and knees position. So we're going to take it into our Superman. So we still want to spread fingers wide, thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. That's always your setup to get a nice neutral shoulder. And then you're just going to do arms first. We're just going to slide one arm out long on the floor, and then let that arm lift and lower down. You're trying not to have your body collapsing or shifting. Trying to keep those shoulders nice and still. Other side, reach the arm forwards and then lift and lower. Bring it back in. If you're happy with your shoulders, let's go straight down to legs. Hip bones are pointing towards the floor. Can you lengthen one leg out long on the floor and then lift and lower and bring it back in. Other side, lengthen the leg long, keeping the hip bones pointing to the floor. Can you lift and lower and draw it back in? Okay, you've got a choice now. You can stay with just the hands, you can stay with just the legs, or you can do opposite arm, opposite leg. You're going to reach, you're going to lift, lower and draw it back in. So you're trying not to have a massive shift of your body weight. Trying to hold everything nice and still. So it's just the arm and the leg that's moving and nothing else. Make sure as you lift that arm and that leg that you're not arching your back. Yeah, so back just stays pretty still. You could just reach the opposite arm and opposite leg out long on the floor, but then not lift if you find that lifting creates all kinds of wobbliness. Alright, as you lower and slide back in this time, just come on off your wrists for a moment and just give your wrists a little twirl around. Okay, we're going to go back to that Superman again, and if you're happy lifting the arm and the leg, we're going to take them out to the side. So we have done this before. If you're just still working on the arms or just still working on the legs, pick whatever feels right to you. I'm going to go facing this way so you can kind of see what I'm up to here. So find your all fours position again. Elbow pits are forwards. So again, whichever level works for you. So if you're doing out to the side, you're going to reach the arm and the leg. You're going to lift the arm and the leg, and then you're going to just take them out to the side. Oh, I need to come on all fours. Out to the side, and then bring them back in and switch. So it's still the same, lift, reach, but then just take them out. It's just a little bit more of a challenge for your stability.
And again, as you come in this time, come on off your wrists. Give them a little shake this time. Okay, so we're going to come to a seated position. So let's find the seated position, but have your knees bent. And then take your hands back behind you, so you can have your fingers pointing out to the sides, pointing towards your bottom, whichever feels good to you. Out to the sides is a little bit easier. Okay, and then all we're going to do first is press into the hands and think about lifting your chest. Imagine you've got a Superman symbol on your chest and you want to shine it up towards the ceiling. So we're going to kind of lift the chest and then just let it relax down again. Do that again. So you're going to press into your hands and shine your Superman symbol on the ceiling and then lower it down again. Good, let's try that again. Press into the hands, shine your Superman up and then lower it down. Okay, now this time we're going to do the same. We're going to shine our Superman, but we're going to press into our hands even more. See if we can just lift our bottom off the floor, tiny bit. So when you're ready, press into your hands, shine your Superman. Can you just lift your bottom? Lowering your bottom and lowering that chest back down. Do that again. Press into your hands, lift the chest, lift the bottom, lower the bottom, lower the chest. One more time. Chest, butt, lower the butt, lower the chest. Okay, we're going to see if we can lift our hips up even higher this time. So it's almost like a little crab position. The Americans call it tabletop. They have a tabletop opposite way to us. Okay, so feel free to kind of play around with how close your legs are. All right, shine your Superman. Push into your hands, lift your bottom. And then can you keep lifting your bottom? How high can you lift those hips? Can you find a table position? And then can you lower your bottom all the way back down? And lower your chest back down. Again, feel free to play around with your positioning here. Chest, press into the hands, lift your bottom. Keep lifting, keep lifting, keep lifting. Push into those heels. Use your butt to lift you. Can you find that table? And then lowering all the way back down. Yeah, let's do 2 more of those. Chest. Press into your hands, lift, 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 lift. Lower. Whew. One more time. Nice work. Come all the way down, lower your bottom. Oh, and come off those hands. Give those hands a little twirl around again. Give them a little shake. Do whatever they need to do. That was really, really good. So really good strengthening work for your hands, for your wrists, your shoulders, everything, bottom, everything. Okay, so we're going to sit with our legs wide now. So if you want to, you can sit on your towel. If that makes it easier for you to sit in a comfortable wide leg position, feel free to sit up on your towel. And then we're going to push that through the heels and pull the toes towards us. Can you find that neutral pelvis? Can you find those sit bones to sit on rather than that tailbone? In fact, I am going to sit on my towel because you know what? It feels a little bit tight. So I'm going to sit on my towel to lift my hips up a little bit. Oh, that's better. And it allows you to kind of find those sit bones and sit up a little bit taller. Okay, so we're just going to kind of allow our body to settle here, trying to find that tall spine. Check in with the ribs, making sure that you're not arching your back. So make sure the ribs are down. And then can you keep in this straight, flat back? Kind of hinge forwards. So we're moving from the hip. Can you hinge forwards? Ooh, gives you all kinds of stretchy sensations into those inner thighs, maybe into your hips. You can bring your hands down to the floor. Hold for a couple of breaths here. So we've got that hinged forwards. If you want to, you can start to round your back and walk your hands forwards even more. If you're just about able to breathe here, then stay here. That's fine too. Whatever you need to do. Let's just hold for 2 more breaths. And then we're just going to come up and out of that. We're going to bring those legs together now. So can you bring those legs together? And again, I'm still staying on my little towel because that's helping me to sit tall. Check in with the ribs. Push out through your heels. Pull the front of the foot towards you. And then let's take our arms out. We're going to do a spine twist here. So we're going to inhale. We're going to grow really tall through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, we're going to twist as far as we can to one side. And we're going to do 2 more little twists there. Twist, twist.
We're going to inhale again, coming back in through centre, and as you exhale again, twist as far as you can to the other side. 2 more little ring outs of that twist. Come back in through centre, inhale, grow tall, exhale, twist and squeeze it out. In through centre, check in with the shoulders, drop the shoulders away from the ears, little twist. Again, in and twist. So as you're twisting, notice whether your feet are trying to slide past each other. Do you have one foot trying to move? Try and keep those feet together and super still. In through centre. We're going to do one more on each side. Drop those shoulders. Twist. Twist. Last one. And in through centre, and then lowering those hands down. Okay, we're going to take one leg wide, and we're going to bring one leg in towards us. Again, we're going to try and find that nice tall seated position here, and we're going to push that through the heel and pull the front of the foot towards us. That's giving us more length down the back of that leg. All right. Again, sit tall. Can you lean slightly forwards, getting into that hip? Take a couple of breaths here. Check in with your neck and shoulders, making sure you're not creating a lot of tension. Let that go. And then come back up to sit tall. All right, so we're going to do a twist and a side bend here. So as you inhale, we're going to twist towards the bent knee, okay? So inhale, we're going to twist towards that bent knee. And then as you exhale, we're now going to side bend over this straight leg. So take your back arm up towards the sky and then side bend over that long leg. Hold for a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to come back up. Let that back arm come all the way down, still in that twist. And then we're going to come back in through centre. We're going to do it again, same side. So twist towards your bent leg first. And then the arm that's at the back is going to come up. I'm going to do a little side bend again over that long leg. Come back up. And lower the arm. Twist back into centre one more time. So twist to your bent knee, arm comes up, we side bend, hold for breath, come back up, release the arm, twist back into centre. We're just going to switch the legs. Other leg in, push out through your heel, pull the front of the foot towards you, giving us that length. Sit nice and tall. Same thing, we're going to twist towards the bent knee. And then the arm that's at the back is going to come up. And we're going to side bend over towards that long leg. Just hold it, a couple of breaths, first time. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back up, lower that arm down, twist yourself back into centre. Let's go again. Twist towards the bent knee. Back arm comes up. And we're going over to find that side bend position. Just hold for a breath or two here. And then coming up, lowering your arm, twist back into centre. Last time, twist to the bent knee. Arm comes up, side bend over the long leg. Just holding for a breath, and then come back up, lowering that arm, and twist back in through centre. Oh! Let's do 90-90 legs now. So we've got both legs. I'm going to get rid of my towel now. Both legs bent. One leg bent in front, one leg bent behind. You can bring your hands down onto the floor behind you. In fact, do that for the first couple just to give a bit of space for your hips. We're going to pivot onto the soles of the feet, bringing your knees up towards the sky and then roll to the other side. Again, onto the soles of your feet, knees come up and to the other side. So you can lean back as much as you need to give space for your hips to be able to get down. But if you don't need to use your hands, you can take the hands away from the floor and come up to sit a little bit taller. Good, so really nice hip mobility work. Alright, so whichever side your knees have gone to this time, we're going to pause there. So whichever way your feet are pointed, we're going to twist away from the feet. So we're going to let one hand come down to the floor, and we're going to reach with that other arm, and reach and stretch as far away from your feet as you can. And then we're going to come back in and we're going to do the same on the other side. So pivot your knees over to the other side, and again, whichever way your feet are pointing, you're twisting away in that opposite direction. Coming up. Again, reach, twist. Imagine that you're making a spiral of your body. Up. And twist and reach. So nice. Do one more time. Twist and reach. Good job. And then coming back in. Alright, we're going to go onto all fours again for a little cat-cow. So find your way back onto your hands and knees. Let's give our back a little bit of a stretch out here. Take a breath. Tuck your bottom under and roll through your spine, making your back as rounded as you can. Breath at the top, go the other way, stick your bottom out, roll through your spine. Just do a couple of those in each direction. Moving on your exhale. Head is the last thing to move. Good job. And then we're going to transition up to standing. We're going to take ourselves into that plank, into that walking our hands in to find that roll down position. So if you're not happy with that, you can just transition yourself back up to standing. If you're okay, we're going to find a plank from here. So we're going to lengthen one leg out long, tuck the toes under. Nice and stable through your shoulders as you take that second leg out and tuck the toes under in that plank. From here, pack your bottom up towards the sky to find that downward facing dog position. And then from here, we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. We're going to go this way. Walk your feet towards your hands, bend your knees as much as you need to end up in that rolled down position here. Just pausing for a moment just to let your body reorientate itself. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to slowly roll yourself back up to standing. Start to open those arms out. Reach your arms out and up towards the sky to grow tall. And then exhale, let those hands come all the way. So we're going to finish off with just a couple of little heel raises here. So we're going to rise up onto the balls of the feet, reaching your arms up towards the sky, circling your hands, lowering your hands as you lower your heels. Let's do that again. Reach, grow tall, circle the hands, lower the heels. One more time. You're all finished.